Hey, welcome to another episode of the Not Scrum Dumb podcast. I'm your co-host, Andreanna Marshall, and that's my amazing co-host.
I am Grand Scrum Master Scott. Greetings, everyone.
Today, we're talking about 4 things that you should do when you first start on a new team as a Scrum Master. The first thing, we'll just dive right in, is one-on-ones. It's really important to understand the team's challenges before you start changing things. And we've all been there before where we had someone come in and make a whole bunch of changes based on their personal preference and really mess up things. But I think if you really want to understand what's going on with the team and where you help and where you fit in, you have to actually talk to them first. And I think one-on-ones is a great forum for that, Scott.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm specifically starting out meeting with the product owner just to make sure. I really want to talk to them a little bit to help them understand. I want to check their knowledge in terms of understanding their product backlog. I want to see what's in there, if they can explain it to me. And as they do it, that kind of gives me an idea, a gauge of what I need to train on, if anything. And of course, our ultimate goal is to make sure the product backlog is transparent. And I'm asking myself and the product owner ways that we could make it more transparent than it is, if at all possible.
Yeah, those are really great points as well. And the second thing we think that you have to do is training. A lot of times teams say they know Scrum, but they've never read the Scrum guide. They don't understand what's going on. A lot of the things that they're using are not a part of Scrum, and they're like, we're just using this because it's Scrum. But I think really stripping away all the extras and going down to the basics really helps get your team aligned on what Scrum is and build from there. What do you think, Scott?
Oh, I like that. As you said, that I was thinking about not only training, but you're going to be doing retraining in terms of the bad habits that they may have. Okay. They may have learned Scrum one way, but you and I coming in and we looking at doing Scrum according to the Scrum guy, or they may have gotten lost down along the way. We want to step back and go back to basics and say, hey, let's go through this event at a time, try to come up with a cadence in terms of what do y'all think y'all need help on, and we use the sprint retrospective to try to figure out what can we do to improve the events, making sure they're purposeful, as the Scrum guide said, and start there and just continue to make those individual improvements along the way. And you're not going to be able to do all of that in one sprint. I wouldn't recommend you trying to do it in one sprint, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, or the whole month. Take a little nugget, look at it from the standpoint of what's the biggest impact that we can make? What is the biggest thing, that pain point that the team is facing? Focus on that first. And that will be very transparent for you to see. If you don't can't see it, ask the team and come up with an agreement in terms of what you need to work on.
The next one that we have is something that we think is optional. It really depends on your environment. If you're in a startup environment, then you're actually going to need to form your team. Or maybe you're in an environment where your team needs to change or your organization is doing a reorg. That's part of the reason that you're there or a transformation. Team formation is the next one that we think is really important in getting everyone on track and being that support system and making sure that the team understands they're accountable for making sure that they have all the right people. It's not just a one person job, but collectively working together to do this. Scott?
No, I love that. When I think about team setup, you gave the definition of cross functional, making sure we have all the skills on the team to actually do whatever it is we're trying to do. The other things I'm looking at outside of what you identified is I'm looking at the team dynamics from the standpoint of, do we have all the skills that we need? And if so, is it full time? Is it part time? How much access do we have for this particular person? I'm thinking about the architect. I'm thinking about those specific cases that we may need this person, but that person may be spread over several different teams. And asking questions like that so we can go ahead and begin to look for ways to mitigate that potential impediment case if we're building something and we're going to need this particular skill set. We know we on borrowed time in terms of getting this particular person and that skill set on our team. So why don't we begin to think about some things ahead of time before we get to a point that becomes a bottleneck?
The last one is icebreakers. It's really important to get to know the team and create a connection and form a bond. You're new as a scrum master. It almost feels like when you change a scrum master or product owner, you're a brand new team. When you change developers, there's definitely some change there, but something about a brand new scrum master and a brand new product owner that just changes the dynamic so much of a scrum team. We added in icebreakers because we think it's really important to create that connection and bond with the team. Scott?
Yeah, I totally agree. I just started on a new Scrum team myself, and I'm getting ready for the retrospective this Friday. I have some people from India on the team, and years ago, I found this foreign food quiz. Who doesn't like food? Whether you're a foodie or not, who doesn't like food? We're talking about food, and that's a nice non-offensive topic to someone, hopefully, because I think we all as human beings eat food. whether it's vegan, whether you're vegetarian or whatever. We eat some type of food to nourish our bodies. Icebreakers is definitely key. Certainly something that you want to do. Just break up the norm. And I think that's a cool way to build trust as well and have fun doing the tasks that we need to do while we at work.
Yeah, I think having fun's a great point. There's enough stress in life already. Like, why not just take 10, 15 minutes to have fun? We just gave you 4 things to do when you start on a new Scrum team as a Scrum Master. Do one-on-ones, understand each of their problems, understand where they're at in terms of understanding Scrum and what are the challenges that they face so that you can help mitigate those or remove those impediments. Training, team formation if needed, and icebreakers. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit subscribe and hit that like button. You can also connect with us via LinkedIn. You can join our PSM class, our facilitation class, our EBM, evidence based management class. We have some other classes as well. So check those out in the description and you can join our newsletter. We'll be sending exclusives to those subscribed. Stay connected with us. We love getting your messages when you reach out to us on LinkedIn saying you watch the podcast and ask us for certain topics. We have some of those in the backlog and we look forward to helping you grow in your journey. And as always, if you made it to the end of this video, that means you have an attention span greater than a goldfish.
Be legendary, everyone, but not scrum dumb.